Get me that signal. We need more power.
Welcome to another Voice of E board game review. I am your host, Elliott Miller, and today I'm looking at Dwarven Miner from Rather Dashing Games. Dwarven Miner was successfully kickstarted by RDG, and they weren't kidding when they said that the game was ready to go. They had copies available at Origins, and they'll be providing their Kickstarter backers their own copies a full month before they promised on Kickstarter. How did they do this? By manufacturing the entire game in the United States. They didn't have to wait on the proverbial slow boat from China. What is Dwarven Miner? Well, the back of the box says, "Welcome to Dwarven Miner. As a Dwarven Miner, your job is to collect resources from your mine, which are used to craft items for your patrons. Roll the 6 custom dice in a push-your-luck style to see what can be pulled out of the mine. Hoy! Craft those resources into all types of gear, from armor to magic wands to mithril swords. Swords! Patrons are great and powerful dwarves who have chosen you to outfit them on their adventurous, mystical, and often dangerous professions. Ranging from warriors to rune singers, alchemists to chieftains, each will earn you points and reward you with a special ability that affects the game. No, I'm not gonna talk like this through the entire review, just get over it. Featuring gameplay that is both strategic and addictive, beautiful artwork, and high quality components, Dwarven Miner will have you dodging orcs as you come back to mine again and again. Well, that's what the book says. Let's take a look inside the box.
As you can see here, we've got a board, a lot of cards and tiles, some pawns, and some dice. Things like that. 2 things I should point out right away is that the dice, for one, all come blank, and you have to put stickers on them. Okay, there's only 6 dice, but they are going to be stickers. They wanted to use stickers because they're much more colorful. They give you extras so that if any of them come off, you can put it back on. Plus, I was told that you could just ask for more and they would provide them. They said that the ones that were etched just didn't look right. They didn't look good enough. And I can understand that, as seeing some of those dice building games. It's really hard to tell what they are sometimes. And also the silkscreen printed ones were just way too expensive to be able to include. Also the box, I may point out, once you go to put your cards back in there, they're going to go all over the place. So you're going to need to get yourself some Ziploc bags to throw those cards in. Or you can use a rubber band, but I hate using rubber bands. But let's get back to the game itself. The object of Dwarven Miner is to be the first player to score 30 victory points by completing the requests of different patrons. Now let me show you a patron card. Here is a patron. Okay. This particular patron wants 2 items. They want tools and they want explosives. That's an engineer. If you provide them tools and explosives, they will provide you with 4 victory points. There's the zoom. Boy, that zoom is slow. And the other thing that happens if you complete the patron card is you get to discard this card to acquire a vault at no cost. So you keep it on the side, and when you want a vault, hey, let's talk about vaults. Well, in order to talk about vaults, we have to talk about backpacks first. So in order to talk about backpacks, we got to talk about other stuff. So why don't we go ahead and just talk about everything? You set up by placing all the resource and item cards into their correct places. Those are all the item cards. And if we look up here, at the top are the resource cards. You earn resources by rolling the dice. See? See how the dice match that? Force perspective. You see? So, you would roll the dice to get resources. When you get those resources, you use those resources to make the items, because each item says what this one would require 2 precious metal resources, and then you get to craft this, and then you use that to fulfill the Bardic War Chanter's order. And what you do, then you earn the victory points, and each one has a different amount of victory points depending on how difficult it is. See? But unfortunately, each turn you're not going to be able to complete some kind of item, so you need to be able to store your resources or your extra items from turn to turn in order to build up to it. So you get this handy dandy backpack, and this backpack will hold 2 items there at the bottom and up to 4 resource cards there at the top. And you get, every player gets one of those. Very handy. But sometimes it's not quite enough. So they also give you the ability to build vaults. Here is a vault. It even shows you what it takes to build one. It takes 2 iron bars and 2 mithrils bars. And this will enable you to store 1 extra item and 2 extra resources in your vault. And you can build several vaults during the game simply by rolling that and crafting it. Now, the difference between, aside from the size, of the vault and the backpack is each one of these dice has a little burglar symbol on it. Alright? And that burglar means you get to steal from other players. If you roll 1 burglar, you get to steal a resource out of their backpack. If you rolled 2 burglars, you can steal an item out of their backpack. If you roll 3, you can steal an item or a resource out of one of their vaults. And I think if you roll 4 or 5 million robbers, you get to steal everybody's everything. No, not like that. But you would actually get to steal somebody's vault, I think, if you roll 4. Don't quote me on that, though. It's something like that. Back to the game. This is basically the whole game. I've almost described it all already. You take the dice and you roll them. Alright, and we're going to go back down and look at those dice. Look at those crazy dice there. Yep. As you can see, I rolled 3 robbers off the bat. No, I didn't want to roll 3 robbers off the bat. Nobody has anything yet. So let's say I decided to keep those. I can keep rolling as much as I want to get whatever I wish and desire until I roll an orc face. And once I roll an orc face, you know what, in real life, it doesn't take this long. Once you roll an orc face, that die is frozen. You can't roll it anymore. You can continue to roll the other dice as much as you want until you either have 6 orcs sitting in front of you or you have what you want. When you have what you want, you take those resources. So I would take 3 of those alchemist powders, and then I could steal something if I wanted to. So I take those 3 alchemist powders and I could craft something with them. So what could I craft with 3 alchemist powders? Well, nothing. You know, because that is the way I roll in real life too. But let's say instead I had these 3, and I decided I needed to get the elemental runes, because that's what it takes to craft them. See? So I get the elemental runes, and that will help me to fulfill one of my patrons that I can't think of right off the bat. So I put that in my backpack. Then I also have this extra green cheese. No, it's not green cheese, it's alchemist powder. So I take an alchemist powder resource card, and I put that in my backpack to save until my next turn. And then the play would pass to the next person, who would start rolling the dice, and it goes from there. When you complete a patron, when you get everything to complete a patron's order, you just take those crafted items at the end of your turn, turn them back in, and complete the patron card. You move your pawn the number of victory points, in this case 4. It actually goes all the way up to 15, which are of course the more complicated ones. And then you follow the instructions on there. You don't have to do this one that says discard this card to acquire a vault at no cost. Hey, that is pretty handy to have. So you follow those instructions, and then this card goes into the discard pile. Then you pull out 2 more cards, 2 new cards. You pick the one that you want. Hey, I'm going to do the rogue, and you discard the other one. So in that way, you always have 3 patron cards that you're trying to fill. That's it. Once somebody hits 30 victory points, it is game over. That person just won. And now you know how to play Dwarven Miner.
The game is simple to learn and reminds me of a cross between Settlers of Catan, Yahtzee, and World of Warcraft. You know, the backpacks and the crafting and, the vault. Anyway, the artwork is great, the game is thematic, and it's a lot of fun for the whole family. It's got a little bit of analysis paralysis in it as everybody tries to figure out what they want to craft, but that doesn't last too long because eventually you're going to roll a bunch of orcs and your turn will be over. So only a little bit of analysis paralysis is allowed. Overall, I like Dwarven Miner a lot, and I think it's a great family game. Thank you for joining me in this review of Dwarven Miner from Rather Dashing Games. I hope you come back to the Voice of E for more board game reviews, entertainment, gaming, fun, excitement, adventure. If you enjoyed this review, send me an email, leave a comment, Elliott_Miller@voiceofe.com, or Mylantis on Board Game Geek. I'm also on Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, tweet. I'll be tweeting this soon. Coming soon to a tweet near you. Anyway, until next time, keep your mind free.
Get me that signal. We need more power.